Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and man, I was really looking forward to UC Berkeley's Free Speech Week. Why? Because I happen to be a very large proponent of free speech. I like to defend speech I disagree with. Why? Because it triggers a whole bunch of people, and it's a lot of fun. Because I do believe that unfettered free speech should not impact your life at all, unless you call for violence or the harming of somebody else. Other than that, fair game, baby, fair game. But not everyone sees it that way. And in fact, UC Berkeley, which is known as like the epitome of free speech in America, at least, if probably not the Western world, is currently under attack in that regard. And it's been interesting to see that Republicans and conservatives are the ones that are coming out in defense of free speech, while you have the left Democrats and Antifa that are out there with clubs and blunt items and throwing cans of Pepsi at people as a way to shut it down. And as a result, well, this Free Speech Week was canceled, at least in this particular form. I guarantee you this is Milo Yiannopolous. He will find a way to make it happen. Anyway, says here that confusion swirled over the fate of University of Berkeley's controversial Free Speech Week after the student group that organized it canceled the event, but a featured speaker insisted it was still being held. UC Berkeley spokesperson Dan Mogoloff said Saturday that the Berkeley Patriot student organization told university administrators that the 4-day event scheduled to start on Sunday had been canceled. But the event's co-organizer, right-wing provocateur Milo Yiannopolous, said in a Facebook post that while the student group may have pulled out, he and other speakers have not. And that's probably what's going on. Milo is going to do this thing one way or another. Milo will show up. Milo likes the attention. Milo likes the cameras. Milo likes people saying Milo to him. I mean, just go back and watch his Dangerous Faggot tour from last year. Just watch. You have to respect the guy that is a provocateur enough to go to conservative groups on campus and to be carried in on like a chair, to be carried in by 6 or 7 or 8, white male college students all wearing MAGA hats, bringing him in while people chant his name. 10, 15 years ago, you never would have seen that in conservative groups on college campuses, which goes to show you that conservatism, while not something I inherently agree with as I'm more socially liberal than not, is definitely more liberal than they are conservative in a couple of key social ways, which is cool because guess what, friends? That means progress, right? It does. It totally does. Anyway, we shall speak in Berkeley. We shall speak on the plazas and the steps. We shall defend free speech, whatever the cost may be. We shall never surrender, Yiannopolous wrote, adding that he was paraphrasing Winston Churchill, clearly. The conservative student group Berkeley Patriot was dropping out for safety reasons. This was reported, saying here that the university has made it impossible to hold the event. This coming from the group's attorney, Marguerite Mello. A lot of speakers have withdrawn. To have an empty gesture of Free Speech Week when there are no speakers is impossible, and the university couldn't guarantee our speakers would be safe. I mean, like I said, Berkeley's had a bit of a rough ride this year. I mean, I do fully blame the administration for that. They have not worked well enough with the police in order to keep protesters at bay. We have seen fires break out, riots break out, people who have been innocent have been pepper sprayed on both sides. We've seen a lot of crap go down, and this has to do with just people, and mostly people on the left that don't realize, and I'm telling you this as one of you, if you just would let them do this, it would be over, and then they would probably go away. But because people show up to protest and shit gets lit on fire, there's a reason why, there's a reason why these things keep happening. Because you guys, and I'm going to just be fair here, some of you are idiots, and you play it up. And then that makes the other side play it up. And at the end, there's no winners here because you're both flippin' stupid. Anyway. Marguerite went on to say here, we are very disappointed. We were going to cancel. We have made a determination, or our clients have, that it's just not safe. If we had Zellerbach Hall, that would have been a different story. But my clients didn't want to be responsible, even morally, if something happened. And you're probably going to get a fair amount of that following Charlottesville. You are. Because what happened there was a tragedy. What happened there could have been probably easily avoided had the police not shut down the original park, and had members who were there for that protest not gone out into the crowds to also further antagonize. Again, there were problems on both sides. Clearly, the supremacists way more than the others, but the others showed up there to fight too. So you can't sit there and show up with, to fight and then be like, I'm the victim here. It doesn't work that way. It's true. The website reported that the group's withdrawal does not mean Yiannopolous and the other speakers he has invited can't come to public spaces on campus. It only means there won't be amplification provided. Saying it's extremely unfortunate that this announcement was made at the last minute, even as the university was in the process of spending significant sums of money and preparing for a substantial disruption of campus life in order to provide the needed security for these events. And how sad is that to protect free speech, you have to bring in extra security, right? Like, how is that not some kind of police state? But the police aren't the conservatives. They're the freaking liberals, which just boggles my damn mind. Some headline speakers, including Ann Coulter, have backed away from the event or even said their names were listed without their knowledge. In an email to the Associated Press, Coulter said that she considered going but opted not to after she heard the administration was dead set on blocking this event. Look, Ann Coulter is a person of whom I extremely disagree with here on pretty much everything. And this move further exemplifies that, because if she cared about free speech, if she cared about that, she would still go. She would stand side by side with Milo and whoever else is going to be there. I heard Bannon was supposed to be there, I guess, right? But it's like, stand side by side to continue fighting the good fight. She is the voice that people turn to for these kind of commentaries, and she's not showing up because, well, they want to kill the event instead of the show must go on. It just goes to show you that people like Ann Coulter aren't in it to actually push anything other than rhetoric that gets them paid. They're not there to put their money where their mouth is. And it's the same goes with like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and even people on the left too. I'm not going to sit there and decry those people, decry the right, but still like leave the left. No. Anyone involved in that particular spectrum on either side of the coin are probably all just super cowards in that regard. They want to preach it, but they don't want to back it in real life unless there's a tactical squad protecting them. This is where I have to give Milo credit. Even though I disagree with Milo on a number of issues, he's at least still willing to show up. And yeah, it's probably to push his own agenda, but he still has the cojones to walk up and go, here I am, come get me. That kind of thing. And then Ann Coulter, in pure Ann Coulter fashion, says, I don't think Berkeley deserves to hear a brilliant and entertaining Ann Coulter speech. Nothing about Ann Coulter is brilliant or entertaining. If you disagree with me, feel free to hit that dislike button, but that woman is just, Steve Bannon, the former chief strategist for President Donald Trump, was on Yiannopolous' line of speakers, but has not publicly said if he plans to attend. It was reported Friday that Bannon would not travel to Berkeley and was focusing his energies on campaigning for Roy Moore in the next week's Republican runoff for the Senate in Alabama. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Bannon's got bigger fish to fry. You keep wanting the guy just to go away. He's just not going to go away, but it doesn't matter. I don't like Bannon either, if you can't tell. A number of other listed speakers have posted comments on social media saying they don't plan on showing up. Among them is James Damore, the former Google employee fired the memo. Yiannopolous' attempt to speak at Berkeley in February was shut down by mass anarchists who rioted on campus. So people are backing out, and that is unfortunately what happens in these events. There's never really solidarity amongst it. Like if I was scheduled to speak at one of these events, even though my politics are vastly different than a lot of other people who are speaking, but we both believe in the tenets of free speech, I would still go. Because that's something that I believe in. And I feel that if you believe in this, if you're willing to put your name out there in that regard and you're willing to go to these events and then some stuff gets canceled, then you should still find an alternative to make it happen. Now, don't get me wrong, and there are going to be people in the chat that are going to be like, oh, but what about the security? People want to be safe. And yes, I get that. And that is a factor. I do want you to know that. That is an absolute factor. But there's times when you have to also kind of put that aside. What's more important? Your safety or showing people that you actually plan on sticking to your laurels and backing up your thoughts, your opinions, what's made you famous, what's made you rich. I mean, listen, the goddamn Juggalos had a rally in DC last week, and it went off highly organized and without a hitch, and they went up there and they made their statement. Juggalos. If Juggalos can do this, and Coulter, why the hell can't you? Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.